Its waters have nourished the cradle of civilizations and fed the world's greatest religion for millennia. It has been called the father of rivers. Witness the most fascinating and untold story of Sindhu, the river Indus. Come join us on an epic journey through 11,000 years of history, geography, and culture. Travel with us, 2,000 miles with mighty Indus.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Drop. This is Hussain Nadim.
I'm Ayesha Noor.
And I'm Waqar Rizvi.
Social media once gave power to individuals as broadcasters. Recently, however, that is changing, with big governments, political parties and leaders taking back that same power from the individuals through smear campaigns, investment in social media, and through other propaganda tactics to silence the people, curb media freedom, and etc. Guys, what's going on the media platform?
I think it's an all-out soft war, isn't it? So it's about governments, like you said, trying to take back the narrative, and it's about holding governments to account, right? So on social media, you can be completely anonymous and you can hold your government to account, but now it's about tracing IP addresses, it's about going through all of that surveillance so the government can hold you to account, and we can probably name many governments around the world that do that, but even the big powers, as we may call them, are still doing that as well because they even want the narrative to be in their hands.
So are we really free then? Are we really free in the sense that nobody is watching us, nobody is monitoring us? Isn't it more, aren't the governments gotten even more in depth in terms of their monitoring systems, in the surveillance system? Ayesha, what do you think? What's going on exactly in the social media platform where we have individual freedom on one end, but at the same time, the individual freedom is not really there when you're being watched by the big brother?
I think, Hussain, people firstly, they are not very clear about what freedom of expression is. People generally, they say stuff and they need to first draw lines between freedom of expression, freedom of speech and hate speech. People have no idea.
Are you supporting the government by any chance over here?
No. I do not support anyone. I'm not supporting anyone. But generally, people, if you see tweets, if you see the Facebook statuses of people generally commenting on some picture posted by some poster posted by some campaign, political campaign, people are not, even if they're hired, they need to know, what exactly is what are the boundaries exactly. People are not aware. They think everything is unfortunately freedom of expression, whereas it is not.
So is it really people, Waqar, or is it actually the bots that are not aware? Because we've seen recently in the past social media campaigns spending billions of dollars, sorry, not billions, maybe millions of dollars on creating fake accounts and bots and running propaganda that's not actually there at all in reality.
And that happens in the media world too, by the way. Many people, when they want their respective videos to go viral, they will hire companies where there were bots liking their videos, sharing their videos, commenting on their videos. And it's very obvious, right, when you have those people just saying, great video, great video, great video, like you have 100 of those comments, you're like, okay, something's going wrong here. So even governments do that to an extent where you'll have an army, a cyber army, literally, in rooms like this, like behind us, just supporting the government, for example.
Here's the thing. I mean, we saw this in the U.S. elections, the Russian interference, and then we recently saw it in the Brexit.
Alleged Russian.
Alleged Russian.
Let me push you on that.
We saw it in the Brexit, the entire idea that somehow there was an interference through social media. But tell me something. Is there really that level of social media intervention where the big governments are actually pushing and changing the dynamics of politics and the elections? Or is it more of a myth that we're just, pushing it forward?
I think the biggest sign, Hussain, if I may, is that Facebook's own CEO, from what I've known and what we've seen in pictures as well, puts a tape over his laptop's
I saw
camera.
that
You know what I mean?
actually.
So if Mark Zuckerberg is doing that and he runs Facebook, he knows something, right? You know what I mean? And that's sort of probably a sign for the rest of us as well, that, you know, things probably behind the scenes were probably a lot more surveyed than we think.
Yeah. Here is a question though. It's not just the big governments or the corporations that are pushing back on the media freedom. We see educated individuals, we see opinion makers. They're also coming out and opposing anyone who's disagreeing with them. And this is the recent trend we've seen in Pakistan and even places like in India. We're observing in the elections that anybody who disagrees, there is like a sort of grouping, WhatsApp groups together come about and they start attacking and launching a smear campaign. We recently saw that in the case of Ramiz Raja as well. Ayesha?
There was nothing wrong with it actually, the tweet that he made. I think the only problem was his language that could have been a bit softer.
But why was he then attacked by so many educated lot that we look up to, trying to silence? Because this is one of the questions that we keep coming across in the media industry, that are we tolerant to diverse opinions?
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. Unfortunately, this is where the intolerance element comes in. Like generally, Pakistan, India, and even Bangladesh, the whole this part of the world, I think people are very intolerant. People do not respect what the other person is saying. So
is it intolerance? I mean, I would ask this question because is this somehow embedded in our DNA? I mean, part of the things I feel is perhaps that we're brought up in a particular way, because in our households, as young children, we're told that you're supposed to not say this,
It's all about what education is, isn't it?
Because and in the high schools as well, we're having the same conversations as well, where teachers are telling you what not to say.
Because education isn't simply just a certificate or a degree, right? Education is more than that, right? Knowledge is supposed to make you a more tolerant person. If it isn't, then there's something wrong with the educational system worldwide as well. And you know, we're seeing global intolerance now, right? So it's even in the free world, where tolerance was once their flag bearer, was once the thing that they sold themselves on, that's going down the drain too, you know what I mean? So there's something going wrong with our education system worldwide, where it's allowing for these very hardened opinions to remain in people's minds, even the young generation.
So essentially we have an educational system which is producing intolerant ideas and views and not producing the same level of critical
I would
speech.
add something here, Hussain. I think that was the time when this generation actually lost the idea. They were never exposed to what freedom of speech was.
Yeah.
They had no idea what freedom of speech was. Everything that they wanted to speak out was somehow censored. Like, kids who want to write, kids who want to say out stuff, they're told, oh, you're not supposed to say this stuff on, television, or you're not supposed to pen it down. Right. This is against the national interest, this is against our religion, this is against our faith.
Right.
They do not know what freedom of speech is. And this is hypocrisy on their part, the organizations that ultimately work like this.
Yeah.
That you have not groomed them in a way, you have not told them what freedom of speech is, and now you're expecting them to, make such big statements and,
so
come up with...
essentially what you're saying is that you didn't groom the kids or train them in a way to be able to use social media platforms.
And you're now asking them to give you,
this encourages trolling, to be honest, just what Ayesha just said, because if you suppress free speech, it will come out somewhere. So these people will go anonymous, they'll go into the dark web, as we call it sometimes, they'll make up an identity, and they'll tweet and or comment on Facebook videos or YouTube videos what they so wish.
What's the way forward out of this? How do we change? I mean, we were seeing in the recent days and past some trends going on Twitter against minority communities, against political parties, individuals. How do we change this situation? Because I think sooner or later this is going to explode. I mean, this is we're going in a very, if it hasn't already.
I mean, New Zealand was an explosion of this, right?
How do you go forward with this? We have the situation
Yeah, I think it goes back to the educational system in many ways, and it goes back to media. So we're in media, so we have a responsibility in this as well, right? So in my show, for example, I don't like hyperbole for the sake of hyperbole, right? I'm not trying to be sensationalist. I'm not trying to just get the ratings just for the sake of getting the ratings.
You can't survive in Pakistani media.
I know, I've heard, so I'm trying to balance that, but it's not just about getting the ratings, right, or saying something that's crazy and out there. It's about actually trying to bring some balance to the situation.
I remember back in school, in university, we were taught media law, where we were taught what defamation is, what hate speech is, what libel is, what slander is. It was taught.
So essentially you're saying that the curriculum has to be changed to
People have no
adjust
idea
to the
what it
future of
is.
what the media is going to be, even in the high school. So there should be a course about ethics as well, where we teach the media and social media ethics, because everyone has a phone nowadays. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's going to work completely, because I think that if you're just teaching somebody ethics, if they have a strong opinion about something, it'll still come out, you know what I mean? So I feel like we just need to be more tolerant of opinions that we completely disagree with.
So it's not the strong opinions that are a problem, it's just that you have to have tolerance of other opinions.
I disagree on that, actually. I think that it is the fact that there are people with completely polar opposite opinions to us, and sometimes we have a very hard time just accepting that such an opinion can even exist in our sphere of existence, you know what I mean? So, for example, let's just say I'm on one side of a political issue. I will never visit the website of somebody who's on completely the other side, you know what? Just because I prefer to live in my own little bubble.
Yeah.
But until I don't step out and go out of my comfort zone and read the other person's article and or watch their video, I'm not really going to actually learn their point of view and try to appreciate the balance in that.
That makes a lot of sense. I also have very strong opinions about certain things. I mean, I have a very strong opinion in favor of Lahore. But I mean, I also don't mind Karachi.
I love Islamabads, but okay.
I think Karachi has really good food. Guys, this is all for today. We had a discussion on social media and what's going on exactly. It's completely going haywire. But as we talk, there are also silver linings on how we can actually change the social media space. It has become toxic. It is even becoming more and more problematic for a lot of people are having mental health issues because of that. How can we change that? Please drop us your opinions on it and carry the conversation forward. Thank you.